More than 11 million people are believed to have fled their homes in Ukraine since the conflict began, according to the United Nations. As well as the 5.3 million who have left for neighboring countries, another 6.5 million people are thought to be displaced inside the war-torn country itself. Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister, Irina Vereshchuk, warned people in the east of the country to evacuate ahead of the latest Russian assault or risk their life. It's not clear how many people were able to leave. The UN's 6.5 million figure is based on research carried out by the International Organization for Migration between the 9th and the 16th of March. The actual total is likely to have increased in the subsequent weeks. Of the 2,000 internally displaced people the International Organization for Migration surveyed, nearly 30% had come from Kiev, more than 36% had fled from the east of Ukraine, and 20% had come from the north. Nearly 40% were now in the west of Ukraine, with less than 3% in Kiev. Only 5% had left their homes in anticipation of the invasion, with the vast majority fleeing either at the start of the war or when it reached their area. The International Organization for Migration estimates that more than half of the people who are internally displaced are women, and many are deemed particularly vulnerable because they are pregnant, have a disability, or are a victim of violence. The UN, which is working alongside other organizations to provide help to people in Ukraine, says it is offering humanitarian assistance wherever necessary and possible. This includes giving cash to people for basics like food and rent, delivering supplies from west to east, including food and tarpaulins for homes damaged by shelling, providing folding beds to people in bomb shelters, setting up reception and transit points for internally displaced people. About 12 million people are also thought to be stranded or unable to leave areas affected by the fighting. Refugees are also crossing to neighboring countries to the west, mostly Poland. The UN says that as of April 26, more than 5.3 million people have left Ukraine. Poland has taken in 2,944,164 refugees, Romania 793,420, Russia 627,512, Hungary 502,142, Moldova 437,362, Slovakia 360,458, Belarus 24,719. Some people have traveled from Moldova into Romania and so are included in both countries' totals. Poland, Hungary and Slovakia are part of the Schengen area, where there are no internal border controls. This means many of those counted when they initially crossed into these countries may have since traveled to other countries. For instance, the Czech Republic's Interior Ministry said that as of April 26, it had granted 312,800 emergency visas to Ukrainian refugees. Trains heading towards Ukraine's border have been packed, and there have been long queues of traffic on roads leading out of the country. Refugees don't need all their official documents, but it is helpful if they can provide identification cards or passports, birth certificates of children traveling with them, and medical documentation. To get refugee status, they need to be Ukrainian citizens or people legally living in Ukraine, such as foreign students. There have been reports of people from African countries being prevented from leaving Ukraine. In countries bordering Ukraine, refugees can stay in reception centers if they can't stay with friends or relatives. They are given food and medical care and information about onward travel. The EU has granted Ukrainians who flee the war a blanket right to stay and work throughout its 27 member nations for up to 3 years. They will also receive social welfare and access to housing, medical treatment, and schools. The government of Poland, which has received the highest number of refugees, has said it will need more money than the EU is currently offering in order to host the number of people arriving there. Moldova, which has the largest concentration of refugees per capita, has also appealed for international help in dealing with the numbers arriving. The UK launched a family visa scheme for Ukrainians who have an immediate or extended family member in the UK. After the government was criticized for the speed and scale of its response, it also launched the Homes for Ukraine scheme to allow those without relatives in the UK to settle here. Under this scheme, people in the UK can nominate an individual or family to stay with them rent-free for at least 6 months. Refugees who come via the scheme will be able to live and work in the UK for up to 3 years, and access healthcare, welfare and schools. Applications are made online, and both hosts and refugees will be vetted. Hosts will receive £350 a month, and there will be no cap on the numbers able to come to the UK. However, some families who have applied to be sponsors have complained that the system is too slow and complicated. Home Secretary Preeti Patel has apologized for the frustrating delays. As of 20 April, 71,800 visas had been issued through both schemes, out of 107,200 applications.